If your feet burn at night, if your toes feel numb when you wake up, or if you've ever looked down and felt like they're not fully connected to you anymore, then this is something you cannot ignore, because neuropathy after 60 doesn't hit suddenly, it creeps in quietly. At first, it's just a slight tingling, then it becomes numbness. And by the time it feels constant, your nerves have already been under stress for years. But here's what most people are never told. What if the things you've been doing to fix it are actually making it worse? More walking, more stretching, pushing through discomfort, these sound like good habits, but for sensitive nerves, they can create irritation instead of healing. Surgeons and rehabilitation specialists don't rely on random movement. They use precise, controlled activation patterns designed to improve circulation and restore nerve signaling without overstressing fragile tissue. And one of these movements is so simple that most people completely ignore it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 targeted exercises specifically designed to support nerve health after 60, starting with the most basic and building up to the one experts consider the most powerful. And that final movement may completely change the way you approach your symptoms. Let's begin with the movement that most people overlook because it looks too simple to matter: seated marching. But when it comes to neuropathy, simplicity is often exactly what your body needs. The reason this exercise is so effective is because it targets circulation at its source. Most people focus only on their feet when symptoms appear there. But nerves in the feet depend on blood flow from higher up in the body, especially from the hips and thighs. If circulation is weak in these areas, the nerves in your feet are the first to suffer. When you lift one knee at a time while seated, you activate your hip flexors, quadriceps, and stabilizing muscles. This creates a pumping effect through the larger blood vessels, helping deliver oxygen and nutrients to the nerves that need it most. Over time, this improved blood flow supports nerve function and reduces that cold, numb feeling many people experience. The key here is control. This is not about speed or intensity. It's about steady, rhythmic movement that encourages circulation without placing stress on your joints or nerves. To perform seated marching correctly, sit upright in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Keep your posture tall and your core lightly engaged. Slowly lift one knee a few inches off the ground, hold it briefly, then lower it back down with control. Then switch sides. The movement should feel smooth and deliberate, not rushed. Start with about 20 alternating lifts, then rest and repeat for 2 to 3 rounds depending on your comfort level. Breathing should remain steady throughout. If you feel any strain in your lower back, reduce the height of the lift. Remember, the goal is not to exhaust your muscles, it's to stimulate circulation, and many people notice something interesting after just a few minutes. Their feet begin to feel warmer, slightly more responsive. That warmth is a sign of improved blood flow reaching areas that often receive less attention with age. This exercise may look basic, but it sets the foundation for everything that follows, because without proper circulation, no other movement will be as effective. Now we move to the next step, directly targeting the feet with a movement that focuses on nerve communication rather than strength. This is where toe taps come in. Neuropathy often begins in the smallest nerve endings, especially in the toes. Sensation fades, balance becomes less reliable, and the connection between your brain and your feet weakens. When this happens, many people instinctively move less, thinking they are protecting themselves. But this is actually the worst response, because when nerves are not used, they weaken even faster. Toe taps work by reactivating that connection. When you lift and lower your toes while keeping your heels grounded, you stimulate the small muscles and nerves responsible for movement and sensation in your feet. Each repetition sends a signal from your brain down through the nerve pathways, reinforcing that connection. Over time, this helps maintain nerve function and improves your ability to sense the ground beneath you. To perform toe taps properly, sit upright with both feet flat on the floor. Keep your heels firmly planted and slowly lift your toes upward toward your shins. Hold briefly, then lower them back down in a controlled motion. Avoid quick or jerky movements. The slower you move, the more effectively you activate the nerves. Start with 15 to 20 repetitions, then rest and repeat for 2 to 3 sets. As this becomes easier, you can progress to performing the movement while standing and holding on to a stable surface. This adds a mild balance challenge, further strengthening the connection between your feet and your brain. Over time, this simple Exercise can improve proprioception, your body's ability to sense its position in space, which is essential for maintaining balance and preventing falls. It may feel small at first, but consistent activation of these tiny muscles can create meaningful improvements in how your feet function and respond. Now we move to something most people completely misunderstand about neuropathy. It's not just a circulation issue, it's also a mechanical one. Nerves are not just signals. They are physical structures that travel through muscles, around joints, and along connective tissue. When the surrounding muscles tighten, nerves lose space. And when nerves lose space, irritation increases. That's when symptoms like burning, tingling, and pulling sensations begin to intensify. One of the most common areas where this happens after 60 is the back of the thighs, the hamstrings. These muscles gradually shorten due to prolonged sitting, reduced activity, and natural aging. You may not feel tightness directly, but your nerves feel it. The sciatic nerve, which runs from your lower back down into your legs and feet, passes right through this area. When the hamstrings are tight, they create subtle tension along this pathway. Over time, that tension can make your nerves more sensitive to movement. This is why many people feel increased discomfort when they walk or stretch aggressively. The solution is not to stretch harder, it's to restore space gently and safely. And that's exactly what the next movement is designed to do. The seated hamstring stretch is one of the most effective ways to reduce this hidden tension, but only when performed correctly. This is not about forcing your body into a deep stretch. In fact, aggressive stretching can actually worsen neuropathy symptoms by placing too much strain on sensitive nerve tissue. The goal here is controlled lengthening, not intensity. Sit on the edge of a sturdy chair and extend one leg forward with your heel resting on the floor. Keep your toes pointed upward toward the ceiling. Now slowly hinge forward from your hips while keeping your back straight. You are not rounding your spine, you are gently leaning forward. You should feel a mild, steady stretch along the back of your thigh. Hold this position for 15 to 20 seconds while breathing steadily. Then return to the starting position and switch sides. Perform 2 to 3 rounds per leg. This gentle movement helps release tension in the surrounding muscles, allowing the nerve to move more freely. Over time, this reduces irritation and improves overall mobility. Now we move into something even more critical for neuropathy after 60 balance, because neuropathy is not just about discomfort, it's about stability. When sensation in your feet declines, your brain receives less accurate information about your position. This affects coordination, reaction time, and your ability to adjust quickly when something feels off. At first, these changes are subtle. You may notice a slight wobble, a hesitation when stepping, or a lack of confidence when walking on uneven surfaces. But over time, these small changes increase the risk of falling, and falls are one of the most serious risks associated with neuropathy. This is why balance training is not optional, it's essential. But here's what most people don't realize: walking alone does not improve balance effectively. Walking is a stable, repetitive movement that does not challenge your body in different directions. To improve balance, you need to create controlled instability. You need to challenge your system in a safe and deliberate way, and that's exactly what the next exercise does. The tandem walk is one of the most powerful ways to retrain balance and coordination. It may look simple, but it challenges your body in a very specific way. By walking heel to toe in a straight line, you narrow your base of support. This forces your body to stabilize itself with much greater precision. Every step requires coordination between your feet, ankles, and brain. This improves proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. To perform this exercise safely, stand near a wall or countertop for support. Place one foot directly in front of the other so your heel touches your toes. Then take slow, controlled steps forward in that same pattern. Do not rush. Each step should feel deliberate. If needed, lightly touch the wall for balance. Begin with 10 steps, then gradually increase as your confidence improves. Over time, this exercise strengthens the communication between your nerves and your brain, which is essential for preventing falls and maintaining independence. Now we arrive at the most important part of this entire routine, the movement that directly targets the nerve itself. Because everything we've done so far has focused on supporting system circulation, muscle tension, and balance. But neuropathy is ultimately a nerve problem, and if the nerve cannot move properly, irritation continues. This is where most people never get the right guidance. They walk more, they stretch more, they try to stay active, but they never improve nerve mobility directly. The seated sciatic nerve glide changes that, unlike traditional stretching, this movement is not about pulling on the muscle. It's about gently mobilizing the nerve through its pathway. Sit upright in a chair, extend one leg forward, and pull your toes upward while lifting your head slightly. Then reverse the movement, lower your foot, and gently drop your chin. This creates a sliding motion along the nerve, not a stretch. Perform 10 slow repetitions per side. Over time, this improves nerve glide, reduces irritation, and restores smoother signaling. And that's what makes it the most powerful exercise in this entire sequence. Now that you've seen all 5 exercises, it's important to understand something most people miss. These movements are not random, and they are not meant to be done in isolation. They are designed to work together as a system. Each one targets a different layer of nerve health. Seated marching improves circulation from the top down. Toe taps restore communication at the smallest nerve endings. Hamstring stretching creates space along the nerve pathway. Balance training strengthens coordination between your brain and your body, and nerve gliding restores movement to the nerve itself. When combined, these exercises create a complete approach that addresses the real causes of neuropathy symptoms, not just the surface level discomfort. This is why specialists don't rely on one single movement. They use a sequence, because nerves don't exist in isolation. They depend on blood flow, muscle flexibility, and coordinated movement. When all of these systems improve together, the results are far more noticeable and far more sustainable. And that's what makes this approach different from the typical advice most people receive. Another thing that often surprises people is how little time this routine actually requires. You don't need hours of exercise to see improvement. In fact, for neuropathy, shorter, more controlled sessions are often more effective than long, exhausting workouts. These 5 movements can be completed in less than 15 minutes. But what matters is how consistently you perform them. Your body responds to repetition. Each time you activate these pathways, you reinforce the connection between your brain, your muscles, and your nerves. Over time, this creates adaptation. Circulation improves, sensation becomes clearer, movement feels more controlled. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. You are not trying to overwhelm your system, you are trying to retrain it, and retraining requires patience. Many people expect immediate results, but nerve health improves gradually. Small changes build over time, and those small changes are what lead to meaningful improvement. Now let's talk about something that can either accelerate your progress or completely hold it back: your daily habits outside of exercise. Even if you perform these movements perfectly, what you do for the rest of the day still matters. Long periods of sitting can reduce circulation and place pressure on nerve pathways. Wearing tight footwear can limit blood flow to the feet. Ignoring hydration can affect how efficiently your body delivers nutrients to nerve tissue. These small habits may seem insignificant, but over time they can influence how your nerves function. This is why specialists often recommend combining exercise with simple lifestyle adjustments. Stand up regularly, shift your position, wear supportive, comfortable footwear, stay hydrated throughout the day. These changes support the same systems. These exercises are designed to improve, and when everything works together, progress becomes much more noticeable. It's also important to understand how your body responds to discomfort during this process. Many people either avoid movement entirely because they are afraid of making things worse, or they push through pain believing more effort will lead to faster results. Both approaches can slow progress. Avoiding movement leads to further weakening of muscles and reduced circulation. Pushing too hard can irritate already sensitive nerves. The goal is controlled stimulation. You want to activate the system without overwhelming it. Mild tingling during these exercises can be normal, especially as nerves begin to respond again. But sharp pain or increasing discomfort is a signal to ease off. Learning to recognize the difference is key. Over time, as your tolerance improves, you can gradually increase your effort. This balanced approach allows your body to adapt safely and effectively. As you continue practicing these movements, you may begin to notice changes that go beyond just sensation in your feet. Your balance may feel more stable. Your steps may feel more controlled. You may feel more confident moving around your home or outdoors. These changes are not just physical, they are functional. They directly affect your ability to live independently. That's what this is really about. Neuropathy is not just a discomfort issue, it's a mobility issue. It affects how you move, how you react, and how confident you feel in your own body. By By improving these underlying systems, you are not just reducing symptoms, you are restoring function. And that restoration is what allows you to maintain your independence over time. Now let's address something many people experience but rarely understand: why symptoms often feel worse at night. During the day, your body is moving, circulation is active, your brain is focused on external activity. But at night, everything changes. Movement decreases, circulation slows slightly, and your brain becomes more aware of internal sensations. This can make burning, tingling, or numbness feel more intense. What these exercises do is prepare your body before that happens. By improving circulation, mobility, and nerve function during the day, you reduce the buildup that leads to nighttime discomfort. Some people even find relief by performing a short version of this routine before bed. This helps activate blood flow and calm the nervous system, making it easier for the body to transition into rest. As your body begins to respond, something important starts to happen. You regain confidence in your movement. Fear of falling or losing balance often leads people to move less, and moving less leads to further decline. This creates a cycle that is difficult to break, but when you start to feel more stable, that cycle begins to reverse. You move more. Your muscles become stronger. Your coordination improves. This increased activity supports circulation and nerve function even further. It becomes a positive cycle instead of a negative one. And this is one of the most powerful effects of this routine. It doesn't just improve your body, it changes how you use it. It's also worth remembering that neuropathy does not progress the same way for everyone. Factors like blood sugar levels, circulation, inflammation, and overall health all play a role. But one thing remains consistent: nerves respond to stimulation. When they are ignored, they weaken. When they are overstressed, they become irritated. But when they are activated in a controlled and consistent way, they adapt. These exercises provide that exact type of stimulation. They are not aggressive. They are precise, and precision is what fragile nerves need. Over time, this leads to improved signal clarity, better coordination, and reduced discomfort. Progress with nerve health is often gradual, but that does not mean it is insignificant. Small improvements matter. Feeling slightly more stable when walking, noticing less discomfort at night, or experiencing better control in your steps, these are all signs that your system is responding, and these small changes add up over time. They create meaningful improvements in how your body functions. The key is to stay consistent and patient. Your body is adapting, even if you don't see dramatic results immediately, and that adaptation is what leads to long-term improvement. At the end of the day, neuropathy after 60 is not something that improves with random effort. It requires the right approach. More walking, more stretching, or pushing through discomfort may seem helpful, but they often miss the real issue. Your nerves need circulation, mobility, and controlled activation. That's exactly what these 5 exercises provide. They work together to support your entire system, from blood flow to balance to nerve signaling itself, and the most powerful part is their simplicity. You don't need equipment, you don't need a gym, you just need consistency, because the difference between worsening symptoms and gradual improvement often comes down to what you do every single day. Start small, stay consistent, and give your body the conditions it needs to improve.